Sorry I'm late.
That's okay, Mary.
I was gonna get my Mardi Gras beats on and everything.
Hey, Mary, take it away.
That was
Mary.
the best Mardi Gras I can do.
I thought it was great.
6 hours in the morning without coffee.
That was great. Have you got your power back or your water back, Mary? You had frozen pipes?
I don't know. Does it look like I've had a shower in 3 days? The answer is no.
Okay, our invocation this morning is Sam Ott.
Please bow your head. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for allowing us to gather together today in as we've been doing in what we consider is an unconventional method, but it's amazing how we can express our feelings for each other and for our fellow citizens in our country, and try and take care of each other during this a period of time that none of us are accustomed to. Thank you for all the blessings you've bestowed on each and every one of us. As I've indicated, to let us get together and keep communication. Let us all be meaningful and aware of those of us that need assistance in this time among our friends and people we don't know, and give us the opportunity to assist those where you know that we can be of assistance. Thank you again for all the blessings you've bestowed on each and every one of us. In your Lord Jesus' name, we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Sam. Okay, Keith is going to do the pledge and the four-way test for us.
Please join me in the pledge to that beautiful flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And the four-way test of things we think, say, or do. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build real and better friendships? And will it be beneficial to all concerned?
Keith. Okay, announcements. Do we have any happy dollars this morning? Too
Oh,
cold?
come on. Somebody really is enjoying the snow.
Well, I have one. I looked out the door this morning and I really don't know who it is. I've called the police department, but somebody came and shoveled me a walkway out to the mailbox and my front porch. Great, cut it off.
Neat.
I don't know who did it. I'm just going to put a sign out there. Whoever did this, thank you.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Did you say you called the police?
I'm going to have them picked up an APB. Yeah, Keith. I want to hug their necks. I'll have a mask on. My next door neighbor, he's got 6 kids, but it was a great feeling to look and see that. Yeah. This neighbor doesn't talk about what he and his family do for people, but if I could arrest them, I would go hug their necks in the public. It's cold out there. My thermometer said -1.
Mine says
So
-9.
That's pretty cold, right, Sam?
Weather Service says -9.
Yeah.
Oh, me.
So your thermometer's broken.
Yeah.
Mine said -10.
Right, do we have any other happy dollars? All right, I just thought I'd give you a quick little report on the board meeting. I don't know if you had a chance to read the bulletin, but one of the things that we approved at the board meeting was to distribute the funds that we've collected for breakfast for this last quarter to the 4 different organizations that we support. It's Food and Shelter, the Willows, Bridges, and the Transition House. And so I'm sure they appreciate that. And then, I'm sorry, also the board approved, we had been challenged by the Cross Timbers Club. They were going to contribute $350 towards food for the people working the pod at the health department for vaccines. If you remember when we had the young lady, Sarah, speak to us several weeks ago, she mentioned that that was a need that they had. And so the board, they accepted the challenge and they approved to meet that challenge. And we had very generous donation by Joan also. And then also Farouk was going to match a couple $100 from Sam's. And there's been a little bit of shift on that. It's still going to go for food. She just mentioned that it might be better to focus on like lunches. But as long as we're doing something for them that lets them know we appreciate what they're doing and taking care of them, then that's what the money was intended for. So anyway, also don't forget about our district service project, April 24th. We'll learn more about it when we get closer. The idea is that district-wide, all the Rotary clubs will pick a nonprofit and they will collect items for that nonprofit from a wish list. And then we'll all get together, perhaps at a park, collect those items from both our Rotarians and the community, and then deliver those items. So do we have any other announcements from anyone else?
John, I just want to add to that event on Monday. They're hoping to vaccinate about 10,000 people. It's OU Medical Services, IME, and the health department at Embassy Suites. So
Okay.
that'll be open to teachers and 65 and above and others with health conditions.
That's right. They were particularly targeting teachers in the Cleveland County area and McLean County area, I believe. So.
While we're talking about the nonprofits that we support, I was wondering if April wanted to give us an update on what the shelter is doing for the homeless. And I think she's on.
Yep, I'm here. Starting last Monday, so a little bit over a week ago when we saw this, well, we'd been planning for it for a couple of days prior to that because we saw the cold weather coming in, and we kind of scrambled about to find extra staffing so that our building could stay open 24 hours. So we've been open 24 hours since last Monday morning. I guess that would be when it was. We don't have beds here. It's really just for those people that are outside who can't go to Salvation Army or are choosing not to go to the city's warming shelter. We have a space for them so they don't have to be outside. We've been averaging about 30 to 35 people a night inside. And we've been keeping them as comfortable as we can with, thick pads underneath them and as many blankets as we have. Our community poured blankets into us, so that was really great. A team of us, there have been about 4 of us that have been going out, starting probably this last Friday, going to every encampment we could find to try to convince people to come inside to any of the shelters. There were a lot of people that had animals with them, and so they couldn't come into shelter. So we started putting people into motels so we could at least get them from outside. As of yesterday, I think we have about 59 people from the street in motels, plus our 30 something here. So when we kind of think about that, we feel like we have most everybody off of the street. Of course, the police have been great at, when they identify people, to give me a call so I can go out and pick somebody up and get them inside. So that's kind of still an ongoing thing, and other members of the community as well. But it's just been, it's been a real worry for us. We don't want to see anybody lost out there. There were only 3 people that said they would just prefer to stay where they were. And so we gave them extra propane to be able to light their little camper heaters and extra those sub-zero sleeping bags. And hopefully they're going to do okay. We'll try to check on them. I couldn't get out there. My car wasn't, I wasn't going to try to get out there where they were in with the snow as it was yesterday, but we're going to try to get out there today or tomorrow and just make sure everybody's okay. But at this point, we're just trying to get through this week, and hopefully by Friday or Saturday, weather will be a little bit more tolerable. So thanks, Mary. Thanks for asking about that.
Well, my guess is your needs are mostly money at this point, right?
So I was working yesterday and I did a calculation of just based on the rooms that we rented, and it'll be about $30,000 in motel rooms to get through what we've reserved so far. So yeah, I would say so. That would be because, you know, we did have a little bit of HUD funds to do that, but it's not anywhere close to that much money. So we're hoping, you know, but our community is very generous, and yeah, I feel certain we'll be okay. But
Thank you. All right. Any other announcements?
I just have one real quick one. We were talking about the temperature, and just in from the National Weather Service in Oklahoma City, the Will Rogers World Airport official temperature at 7 o'clock for Oklahoma City was -14. So that's an all-time record dating back to 1899.
Oh, climate change.
Jonna, can you
Yes.
introduce Josh, our guest?
Yes, I was just getting ready to do that.
Okay.
I was looking for him on the screen.
Josh Green.
Josh Green. Josh, want to introduce him? Welcome. We also have Paula Price, and of course our speaker, Richie Splitt, and Aaron Burkhart. So welcome to all of our guests, and welcome Josh to Sooner Rotary via Zoom.
Thank you.
All right, well, we'll move on to our program now. Our program is going to be Richie Splitt, the CEO of Norman Regional Health System. Richie is he leads a team of more than 33,900 healers to help fulfill the health system's mission of serving the community here in Norman and in Moore. He joined the regional system as the chief administrative officer back in 2013. And after 1 week on the job, the EF5 tornado destroyed the Moore facility. So that was quite an event to take on and deal with. In 2017, he was appointed to the CEO position of the Norman Regional Health System. And during his time as president and CEO, the Norman Regional Health System has received numerous clinical recognitions and experienced tremendous growth. His full bio is in this week's bulletin. So please, if you haven't had a chance, read that. It's very, very fascinating. So welcome, Mr. Splitt.
Thank you very much. I appreciate being with you all again. It's good to see you all, and thinking back since we were last together, everything that has occurred, and it's been remarkable to think the changes, the advances, the challenges, the gains, the losses, all of those things. And it really is, I was enjoying your conversation back and forth. What a blessing to have this technology to connect us in these times, and maybe more so than ever today with these frigid temperatures, -14 officially at Will Rogers World Airport. So it's great to be with you all. I'm excited to share with you, just continue to build on our previous conversation about Inspire Health. And I thought I'd give you a little bit of a COVID update as well. So if that's all right with you all, I'll just try to share my screen and we'll get started. Here we go. All right. let me get, this is not, there is where I want to be, right there. Okay, so thank you all. Hopefully you can see my screen. That's as large as I can get it. And I want to let you know that, as usual, I'll run through these slides and be providing an Inspire Health update. And you all can, maybe Paula, I can ask Paula to help me in the chat room if she can watch that and bring any questions forward that you may have in the chat room, or simply speak up and I'm happy to address them as we go through the slide presentation this morning. So with that being said, let's get started with that COVID-19 vaccine update. I appreciate the announcement about the mega vaccine event on February 22nd. This was one of those posts. And so you can see Emmy Labs and OU Health Services and county health departments are partnering for this large scale event. And I want to let you know that this is the first time I had heard about this late yesterday. Don't know how this happened. We've been reaching out and attempting to be a part of a vaccine event, we being Norman Regional Health System. And we're, for whatever reason, we simply aren't getting any traction. And I'm just sharing that because I want you all to know we are trying to lean in this process, and we've done our part. We've gone through phase 1 and phase 2 vaccines for all of our healers, and we've done those who are affiliated with the hospital and the health system. We've been asking for additional vaccines to be distributed to allow us to be a pod. And for some reason, that distribution just is not forthcoming. So I'm not sure why or where that holdup is, but I'm greatly relieved that we're having this event on the 22nd. And I would have liked to have seen, and we have been attempting to get Norman Regional Health System after one of those commas, any commas in there, to be a part of this process. So I just want you all to know that Norman Regional has been asking for access, been asking to be a stronger partner in this process, and we're simply not finding that traction for whatever reason. That being said, we're not slow on the uptake. This is information that was, these data points are from December of this year, so it's even higher than this today. So just to give you an FYI, since March of 2020, we partnered with Emmy Labs to develop a PCR COVID test because if you recall back in March, we couldn't get access to tests. So our pathology director is serving as their medical director for Emmy. And together we came up with a solution to bring COVID tests, highly reliable, valid tests to our community in a time in which we could get none of that. And so we've been doing those tests since that time, 64,000 through December, and 3,600 antibody tests performed through December. We've had more than 1,400 COVID patients admitted to our hospital since March. And again, those numbers are higher now. The good news is our highest, the peak of COVID patients in our health system was 89 on any given day. So the most we ever had in the hospital was 89. And today I'm happy to report that we are sitting at 21 COVID patients in the hospital. So that is a testament to the vaccine. It's a testament to hand washing, mask wearing, social distancing, all the efforts that you all have been engaged in. And it's a great relief, and our healers are relieved to see those numbers coming down. And I should say that I could not be more proud of the healers of Norman Regional Health System in their efforts, their heroic, literally heroic efforts to care for these patients and our patients that need other help in our community. So I'm very proud of our health system and the people who make it happen day in and day out. So we have more than 500 patients who've been treated in an outpatient infusion center. You see a little vial on the right there. That's bamlanivimab is the name of that drug. It's a monoclonal antibody. It's also known as Regeneron actually has a drug. I may have those pictures backed up here. Yeah, it looks like Regeneron is in the upper right. Bamlanivimab is in the bottom. Monoclonal antibodies are for those patients who are at high risk of various problems, comorbidities they are experiencing, and who have COVID. We can put them in an outpatient setting in over about roughly 2 hours. We can infuse these monoclonal antibodies, which are unbelievable medications who help them to recover, decrease the symptoms, and it's been very, very effective. We stood up this outpatient clinic in our hospitality house at the Porter campus. We did that within 72 hours of being notified that we could do that. And again, just another reflection of this amazing and heroic work that our healers have been doing in our health system to ensure that we provide the latest and the greatest care to our patients all across the communities we serve. And we stood up 2 respiratory clinics in Norman and in Moore, so that those patients who may be experiencing respiratory issues don't have to go into the physician's office or be hospitalized because they've allowed these conditions to worsen over time. And those have been very, very effective for us in helping proactively treat and care for those patients. We had all of our elective surgery, or those surgeries that were scheduled for us during 2020, were completed in 2020. That was, again, another heavy lift to ensure that those patients who were in need of those procedures could get them done. And we were happy to report that we were able to manage all of that safely and effectively throughout 2020. So that being said, unless there are any questions, I'll pause. Any questions about the COVID update? All right, hearing none, then I'll move into the Inspire Health. And just as a reminder, this is our bold and transformational plan for our health system. And it's called Inspire Health. And there are just basically 5 big projects. Those 5 big projects you guys should remember. It is the Healthplex expansion, ambulatory and cancer center on the Healthplex campus, freestanding emergency department plus, a Porter Health Village, the transformation of that campus as well. That includes a behavioral health center. And there's more information on that I'll share with you as we go forward. And so these are those 5 big projects. We're going to start with the freestanding emergency department that's near your usual gathering place. And so out here on Highway 9 and 24th Avenue Southeast it is the 30 acres that we have purchased. And that purple shading is the facility that we are planning to build. It's 50,000 square feet. The dashed line that goes around to the right there, that is our expansion plan. So future expansion and growth already planned into the project. The ambulance ER entrance will be where you see the red dot that says ER, and then those blue shaded areas are open for future development. So our planning takes between, roughly 10 to 12 acres and starts with a 50,000 square foot building. And I'll show you that in a moment. And then we have opportunities again for future development on that site. Here's some images, and they're blurred out because we haven't been able to share the final images. These are not them, but it's close. We haven't been able to share our final images with our healers. And so what you're seeing is kind of the outline. You can get a good idea of what this will look like. It will be a beautiful facility. Again, nestled in the 30 acres with opportunity for additional development, a 2-story structure. And this is walking in, this is what it will look like. So if you were to come in and check in for the ER, this is what you would be greeted with. Very open and bright space. We're going to walk down this hallway to the end where you see that stairwell. And you see this is another entry point. This is also where you can grab a cup of coffee. The gentleman in the blue jacket is grabbing a cup of coffee. You see a beautiful garden out the back that would be accessible to the community, but a gathering space and accessibility to that wonderful space there on the campus. You go upstairs, and again, beautiful view outside, and you would check into the physician clinic. So walking into the clinic, next to the clinic is actually physical medicine. So you would walk down the hall, you could either go see your primary care doctor or go see your therapist. So we'll go inside the clinic first, and this is just an idea, taking advantage of those views. And this is a place where the staff, our healers, would gather. They might meet with patients. They would meet as a team. And then to the right behind that television would be the exam rooms that you might imagine when you visit with your physician. Next door is physical therapy. So this is what that space looks like. Again, taking advantage of that second floor panoramic view. So you could come work out, receive therapy. And again, this, you can see the colors and the color scheme. And just again, that really rich and healing environment, taking advantage of the beautiful view out onto the property. Next is the Porter Health Village and Behavioral Health Center. So this is the Porter campus as you know it today. So roughly 30 acres where this sits. And the red outline is for the campus itself. And so we've done an assessment, and in this transformation, we believe there will be 2 buildings that will will remain. So those two buildings are the Northwest Tower, where near the ER is today. It's the newest expansion, one of the newest expansions on the campus. And so we're retaining that for support services, other health services that we'll provide there. And then we'll also retain the education center that you all have seen, probably have been in and enjoyed speakers and whatnot in that space. That education center is also where that's where our COVID clinic has been established. And the vaccines that we delivered to all of our healers and others occurred right there. So you should recognize these two buildings. The remainder of that campus, the remainder of those buildings will come down. They'll be raised. And we have to do that in order for us to have the ability to come back and redevelop and reimagine that campus like we've talked about before. So two structures remain. They'll be reskinned, and they will reflect the Porter Avenue corridor project that is really going to adhere to our history, our long tradition, rich history around Art Deco along that corridor. So our buildings and that campus will reflect back to the community what you will see on Porter Avenue in Art Deco stylings, and it will exist on this campus as well. And it will be our development code and requirements that any structure reflects, again, Art Deco. So really trying to build on the legacy of the Porter Avenue and of Norman in this area in the time of its heyday. So this is what the campus will look like overall. This is the almost finalized master site plan. And again, this is the health village, so that you know it's a gathering place where you can care for the sick, but it's primarily around preventative care, and it's about being proactive and promoting health and wellness. And so there is the ambulance, MSTAT ambulance building on the campus today that will remain. You can see that at the top. And then the two towers, the Northwest Tower and the education building, you can see there. And then right in the middle of that is a structure that will allow us to expand in the future, so we can add on an additional, again, growth, looking to the future for growth and expansion. And then at the bottom is Variety Care, where they still want to be a part of the campus. And you can see the top image is a Variety Care picture from their existing location on Britton Road. They want to replicate that building and those services in that building on this site. The middle picture would be behavioral health. This is a 48-bed inpatient facility on this campus. And you can see, again, if I can get my cursor to show up, here's, again, an eye for growth going forward. We can add beds, whether that's adolescent or adult. It could occur right here on this site. And then the bottom picture is the Norman Forward project that we know that is senior wellness. This is how it's designed today, and we're providing and encouraging that additional growth for senior wellness on this campus. And then lastly, two zones, if you will, up here at the top that would allow for mixed use development, whatever that might be on this site as well. So that's the Porter Health Village layout for this property. And then all of that to say, it will take some time. We can start construction on senior wellness, behavioral health, and we'll do that very quickly. Variety Care may come a little later, but we won't start taking down the Porter Hospital until after the Healthplex is open and we can start moving patients to the Healthplex. And then that building will start to come down. So in the end, it may be 2024, 2025 before we see that structure coming down and the other buildings remaining there in its footprint. Any questions about the Porter Health Village?
Yes, Richie, when you close and knock down the buildings, then the Healthplex is going to have adequate capacity to handle everything that has been handled at Porter?
Yes, sir. That was one thing that we assessed over and over again. We thoroughly vetted that and looked at the numbers and what we needed to build. And so our expansion that I'll talk about in just a little bit will be adequate for those patients that we currently are serving and have opportunity for growth and expansion.
Thank you.
You bet. Good question.
Richie,
Yes.
this is Polly, Christian. And so you're starting to add on to the Healthplex to make it bigger, or is it going to, that's all you're going to have as
Yes,
far as
ma'am.
hospital?
I'll show you that image in just a moment.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
You bet. Those are very good questions. Okay, so let's do that next. So we've worked through the others, and next is the Healthplex expansion, and it's I think you'll find this very exciting and just a beautiful addition to our community. So this would be an aerial view. At the top is Tecumseh Road, I-35 on the right. And you see then this in white, we have old and new expansion, just again, an aerial view looking down on what that will look like going forward. So this view will change here, and I-35 is now to the left, Tecumseh Road is at the bottom, where you would today enter in. What you see in purple, that purple is all new construction. Everything to the right is existing, and everything in purple is new construction. So you can see it's a substantial addition to what we currently offer on the Healthplex campus today. So in the back is the cancer center. This is toward the south, new patient tower, emergency department, an ambulatory care center, and then the finger-like structure is a parking garage. Everything in purple or red, that's all the new. Everything shown in blue here is existing. So again, women's and children's, you're familiar with that when you drive in, the existing patient tower, and then everything to the left is the new construction. So existing, new. Blue is existing, purple is new. And you can see that big circle drive. We're very excited about that. Speaking of Will Rogers World Airport, it's a similar design and concept. We're eliminating any confusion when you drive in. You know where to go. It's a huge thoroughfare that we're building to provide greater access, convenience, and pick up and drop off, and then a parking garage and everything else that you see and I'll talk about shortly. So overall, this is just it's kind of a muted, grayed out vision of what I just shared with you. And when we add a little color to that, you can see that it really comes together nicely. Big drive, convenient access, pick up, drop off, and then playing off that beautiful construction that we already enjoy today. So this is just another view, and I'll take my pointer here. This, again, finger-like structure or boat-looking structure is a parking garage. The final skin of this building is not finished yet, but it won't be just if you're imagining a concrete structure, it will not be what you see today. It's going to be beautiful. It literally is going to help tell our story as you drive into the complex, as you see it from I-35 and or Tecumseh Road. But it will actually be, I think it could be iconic for us as much as this tower is iconic for us today. So new parking garage, this is the ambulatory cancer center or ambulatory care center, and then cancer center in the back. And then this is a new patient tower. This road, we call it a ring road. This service and access road is actually new. It's not there today. It's not what you envision today. That road runs through here, and it's going to go away for this expansion and construction. And a new road will be constructed that leads you around to the emergency department. Another view looking from the south to the north. The north will be at the top. This is that new patient tower that I talked about. And then the emergency room here below. Cancer center in the bottom left corner, taking advantage of that beautiful view of the pond. And then the parking structure and ambulatory care center. So this is, again, an aerial view of what we have today. Here's the road that you know and probably have driven on today. The new ring road comes around the outside this direction. So that will be a change, and all the construction will occur. We're building a temporary lot for our patients and visitors here in the northwest corner. And this will provide access to new entry points where you see the ambulance. All of this, again, is just going to have to be shut down for our construction project and safety. This is also a new lot that will serve the cancer center eventually, but this is where our healers will be parking, patients and visitors, our physicians, and then our healers parking here. And once those are completed, a big fence will go up around the property as well, around the structure, and construction will begin in earnest with the cranes and the big trucks and everything else. So you can see now, if you come in from Tecumseh and you're accustomed to coming around this direction to pick up and drop off or go to the ER, that will be rerouted directly in from Tecumseh here, big fences here, and then access for our healers back in this direction into the building from behind. So about to be very disruptive so that we can take on this massive construction project. So on the 25th is when we started some of this construction. And for this new entry point, we expect that to be finished in May 3rd. And then after we do that, we'll start seeing that big fencing going up and construction on the inside that will finish shortly thereafter. And in June is when again, this complete disruption will occur with all the fences being up and around. So you'll see some of that occurring now, and then you'll see it over time until June, and then all patients and visitors will enter in through a new entry that's closer to women's and children's today. So the freestanding ER, we believe, will be finished in late 2022. The Porter Health Village in over 22 to 25, along with behavioral health. The Healthplex, mid 2023. Those are it's the timeline that we anticipate for each of those projects. The first one to complete is our Southeast Norman FSED, followed by Porter Health Village buildings, and then Healthplex expansion. And then we come back to finish up the Health Village. Any questions about any of these projects? And I'm sorry, I had some images for the inside of the Healthplex, and for whatever reason, I just didn't get that into the slide deck, but it looks very similar to the FSED. All right, so the other exciting project is, you all know about the Norman Ford project. That is the multi-sports facility and aquatic center, and the Trey Young donation to make that an even larger facility. So we will be a part of that project. And there are basketball courts, volleyball courts, pickleball courts on one side. The natatorium or the swim event is on the other. And we are going to be sandwiched in between there with a sports and human performance center. So this is an early rendering of what that Norman Ford project looks like. And again, Trey Young, his donation of $4 million will make this facility, it brings it to a higher level. He will have the ability, 2 NBA courts to be overlaid on top of the other 8 basketball courts that will be in there. And again, we'll be sandwiched in between. So it's a great public-private partnership. And again, an old rendering that is sure to change, but I'm sharing it so you can get a flavor of what the project will look like. And inside, you can see those basketball courts and the swimming pool that will be able to accommodate swimming competitions. And then we will be right in the middle of that. So our vision for that campus looks a little bit like this. It's a sports and human performance center. It's not elite athletes only. It's athletes of all types, all ages. You are either doing prehab, or you're doing rehab, or you're simply training to be the best version of yourself on the weekend, or in whatever performance or whatever sport that you may be participating in. And it might simply be life. It might be our ability to shorten that distance from a lab setting to life. And it may be about turning comebacks or setbacks into comebacks. And so we'll have orthopedic surgeons there. We'll have wellness physicians, integrative medicine physicians who will be there, and a whole host of services. And this is what our space will look like. In the upper left is the first floor that is sandwiched in between the gymnasium and the swimming pool. And then the second floor that you can see doubles our space. Again, it will overlook the gymnasium. And then you can see this green space. We're going to have turf outside, probably a full-sized futsal court, so a sizable turf area, and access for indoor and outdoor fitness activities on this site, again, connected through our sports and human performance center. This is an old view from the basketball courts looking back at our clinic space. And so you can see our first floor therapy right here. You can see the second floor, again, opened, but second floor access or visibility to the gymnasium as well. And then from the first floor looking out, of course, Trey's already in the gym working on his skills. And we're working with Trey and some of his sponsors to make this a really unusual venue and opportunity for us. Again, another cross section from the gymnasium on the left, swimming facility on the right, We're sandwiched right in the middle of that, providing that patient care right there on site. These are some of the things that we want to provide, from sports performance to recovery, community events, orthopedics clinic, doing some research as well. And so we went down to Dallas to look at the STAR, the Dallas Cowboys headquarters, in order for them to inspire us and help inform our design. And so we took these elements and incorporated it into our design. And one of the things they have is the Gatorade Sports Science Center. So we're going to have orthopedic surgeons, family medicine physicians, nutritionists, athletic trainers, therapists. We're going to have all of those there. And we want to create a brand new sports science center, and not necessarily like what you see here, the Gatorade. We want to take and work with Trae Young's sponsors, and that happens to be Body Armor. And we want to create the first ever Body Armor Sports Science Institute inside our Sports and Human Performance Center. So we're very excited about that possibility and that opportunity. And that progress is advancing, and it's going very, very well. And again, it's that public-private partnership, and it is between the city of Norman, Trae Young and his family foundation, and potentially his Body Armor sponsor, and Norman Regional Health System, and the great healers that we have here. So that's what that vision looks like for us at the multi-sports facility. This is a view of what the Healthplex from the ground floor, in essence, will look like as we finish our construction of that campus as well. So those are the images. That's an update of the Healthplex expansion, the Porter Health Village, multi-sports facility, the FSED, and I will entertain any questions you may have at this point. And hopefully, Polly, I answered your question with these slides.
Richie, Keith Busking here. The somewhat controversial sports complex, is it still going to be at the north end of the airport area, kind of? Is that the plan?
Yes, the city is acquiring the land, the parcel of land that falls between Embassy Suites and what is Rock Creek Road. So it will be along that fence line, placed toward the back of that property, the east side of that property that butts up against Max Westheimer. So between Embassy Suites, it'll have that shared parking lot all the way up to Rock Creek.
Thank you.
You bet.
And was there a timeline on that sports complex?
There is. I want to say they're hoping to break ground this summer. Maybe it's August. And then the construction itself would take roughly 18 months to complete. 18 to 24 months.
Richie, this is Cliff Thomas. I see the Variety Care up on General Pershing in Oklahoma City. And you mentioned, what exactly is Variety Care?
Variety Care is a federally qualified health clinic, and they care for patients who are underinsured or uninsured. Medicare, I believe they actually have some Medicare patient population as well. But they provide prenatal care for pregnant mothers. They typically have, I think they may have pediatricians, they may have family practice, physician assistants, nurse practitioners, and they do some pharmaceuticals, they do dentistry, they do some vision, and they even do some behavioral health for that specific population, the uninsured, underinsured. And it's again, a federally qualified health clinic, which means they get some federal incentives to provide care and some federal support to provide care to that very specific population.
Thank you.
You bet. They do an excellent job. They meet a need that we clearly have in our state and in our country. So we've been working with Variety Care for many years, and it's been a nice partnership. Any other questions?
Richie, Jack Beller.
Hi, Jack.
This is an amazing project that we actually started about 22 years ago when I was on the board.
That's right.
And we were still just on the Porter campus. But this is an amazing outgrowth of the beginning that we did, and I congratulate you.
Thank you. And I want to take this opportunity to say thank you again, because you are a co-author. You may not have been involved in the meetings to design what we see here, but you are a co-author to what you are seeing before us. Our growth over time has just been wonderful to watch, and we're blessed as a community to be able to do this. And so I want to tip my hat to you and say thank you to you and your peers for having the foresight, the vision, and the fortitude to work so hard to make Norman Regional Health System such a success. So thank you, Dr. Beller, for your efforts as well.
Well, thank you.
I have one question.
Yes.
This is all very interesting. And is this public information, or is there things out there that could be shared with people?
Yes, we're having meetings like this, our stakeholder meetings, like, I've come to your group before to share the pretty pictures, and we are getting, when we finalize, again, most of our healers haven't even seen this imagery that you're seeing on the screen right now. So because it's not quite finalized, we're finalizing that imagery, and then we're going to have our website will be active, and you will be able to see that image, and we'll promote that and get people to go out and see that information online as we continue to have our meetings out in the public. And then our groundbreaking ceremony for the Healthplex is likely to be July, probably. It's going to happen in July of this year. And that's because we're celebrating 75 years of life-saving care for the Porter campus as a health system on the Porter campus in June. And then our freestanding ED groundbreaking will probably happen in May. So May, freestanding ED in Southeast Norman. June is 75 years of life-saving care on the Porter campus. And then in July, we're going to celebrate the groundbreaking for the Healthplex expansion. So these things are coming up quickly, and they'll, in the springtime and then into the summer is when we're going to release the balloons and, all the other things and pound the drums.
Richie, another thing on the Porter campus, a little bit of history. The part of the building that's immediately east of the education center, which is going to be retained, was the original building of Norman, and I can't remember what it's called, but it was the original building that is still there. It's in there somewhere. And I remember a story that in the late 40s, when they put the first X-ray unit in, that was in the basement, and there was no elevator, and they had to carry people on a stretcher down the stairs to the original X-ray right in that building that's going to be taken down.
You are correct. I hear those stories, and it is remarkable. But we were, as a health system, born right here in 1946. So it's in this area that parts of the original building still exist today. So this courtyard is one of them. And our success over time, because Dr. Beller was so effective and his patients came to see him, and many others, that we've added on and added on and added on and created these level changes and expansions, and this growth that became very long and somewhat disjointed and difficult to access for patients who are having to go from one side of the campus to the other. That when we looked at this project, we knew that we had very few options here, that the best option for our patients was to expand the Healthplex, start new, build it to the high standards, the new standards, high ceilings, et cetera, and more convenient wayfinding. So our success has driven the success and expansion of the Healthplex. And so again, we're going to honor the Porter campus, all the great things that have occurred, the innovations that have occurred, the wonderful people, the babies that were born, all of that. We're going to honor them in June when we celebrate our 75 years. And we're going to try to carry that, honor them as well, honor all of this as well as we expand on the Healthplex campus and incorporate that into the new facility. So yeah, those stories, we're going to try to capture those stories over time so that we can carry that legacy forward on the HealthPlex campus.
This is Bill Wallace. Especially from what Jack said about this, sounds like stuff that's been going on for 22, 25 years, and certainly by the time it's completed. And it made me think, so how, as far as meeting the needs of the community, it looks like it's a remarkable project. What comes after this? I mean, I feel like, okay, this is going to serve the community for the next 25 years. And then I'm curious as to what happens after that.
So what's interesting, we're trying to build on that legacy that Dr. Beller and others had talked about or have started. And so the good news is that once we expand here, that we are sort of, it's going to be limiting where we add a new building. We can do it, but it's going to create challenges. So in this picture, in this image, if you can see it, we still can go up a floor over women's and children's. We can add 30 plus beds above women's and children's for future expansion. We can add at least 2 plates, if not 3 plates above the existing patient tower of the HealthPlex today. So we can go up additionally there. We can go up above this ambulatory care center in the future when it's built. And then we can either on this parking lot or over Cancer Center, one of these areas, we also have the ability, we would have to build a parking garage, but we would have a parking garage with other stackable plates on top of that for that future expansion. So it becomes, instead of spreading out, our experience on the Porter campus, how we spread out, added on and added around, it becomes more of a growth upward, almost like a little metropolis, if you will, of healthcare. So our expansion, we have that growth and expansion planned for the future. We have the ability to do that. We can go up and out today, and we chosen to go out first because it's more affordable, if you will, and creates greater convenience and access. And then we have the ability to go up on both of those footprints in the future.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
You bet.
I think that's probably pretty optimistic of me to think I'll be around here for 25 or more years.
I think you will, Bill.
I'm planning on it.
That's our mission, health and wellness. So our goal is for you to be here in 25 years.
I appreciate that.
Richie, this is Cliff again. Thomas, in terms of geography, what do you envision as your service area that you cover in terms of towns nearby? And Oklahoma City's to the north, but what population will you be serving? And
so our primary and secondary service area ranges from, maybe specifically from around I-40 to the north down to the Red River. And that doesn't mean we don't take patients and have patients from other states. We do. We have a lot of patients who come up from Texas as well. And 38, I haven't looked at the data. I think the last time I was with you, I shared the statistic. We had 38 of the 50 states, patients from 38 of the 50 states. But just in terms of primary service area, so roughly I-40 all the way to the Red River. And we are about 50 miles either side of I-35 all the way to the Red River. And we are viewed by many in those South Central communities as the gateway to health. I mean, they drive up that road because we're more convenient, because we have great care. We have, roughly 400 physicians on staff ready to care for those patients. And so we really do draw from South Central Oklahoma up to this point and provide very high level, high quality, safe care for them and their families. And they like the convenience. They like they don't have to drive into the city and get lost in those highways and byways to get around a few of those facilities. And they like, especially here at the HealthPlex, right up I-35, you can see us from the road. You drive in, this big drive, pick up, drop off. There's a hotel just down the road if you need one. You've got the parking garage. You don't ever have to leave and go outside. You can stay inside and walk into the hospital. It's only going to get better from here with this plan.
Thank you.
This is Polly Christian again, Richie. With the new cancer center that you are building, since you
Yes.
just renovated the one in Norman Regional, is there going to be anything that you work with in conjunction with Stevenson Cancer Center? Are you going to be a separate entity by itself, or how is that going to be working?
That's a great question, Polly. We have partnerships of all types that we work with providers in our greater community. So, for example, in COVID care, there's a technology called ECMO, and Baptist Medical Center provides this technology. It's called ECMO. So we care for patients, and if there are some that when their heart and lungs fail to function advantageously, that we'll reach out to Baptist and we'll say, we have this potential candidate, and we transfer those patients up there. We do that before COVID. We did that for heart failure and respiratory failure and the like. OU, we work with OU, we work with Mercy and Saints, and we continue to work with them. We're a part of a broader 10 hospital, 11 hospital now with St. John's Ascension, St. John's in Tulsa. It's called Life Care, and we're creating this statewide network where patients don't have to go outside of Oklahoma to receive care. So we have these continual partnerships that we're working on with all providers. As it relates to cancer, our oncologists, we provide remarkable, unbelievable community cancer care. We don't do research. We don't have those trial drugs. And so our oncologists often and frequently refer patients who have exhausted their normal course of treatment and could benefit from these trial drugs and other research, refer them to OU Stevenson, refer them to Mayo, refer them to Cleveland. We have these partnerships all over the state. So they'll go up and receive that specialized care and then return for their ongoing cancer care. So the answer to your question is yes. And we have been talking with OU about maybe strengthening is probably the right word, about strengthening that relationship with cancer care on this campus.
Well, I just want to say the oncologists that you have now are marvelous.
They are. Thank you. Yes, they are. And that's, again, the treasure of Norman Regional Health System is you can have a neurosurgeon, you can have an oncologist, you can have a spine surgeon, you can have, all these orthopedics, cardiovascular, thoracic. We can provide all of these specialties right here so that you don't have to leave our community and receive that care. And again, it's a result of Dr. Beller and others who had this vision to provide high quality and safe patient care. And I'm just working extremely hard with our team, with our healers, to continue that tradition, that legacy, and really make you all proud and be a magnet for this level of care right here in Norman.
Well,
And by the way,
Richie,
I pulled the picture up because the cancer care building is right back here by the pond. If you recall that, this big rectangular box. Yes.
just want to say we've reached our time, and want to say thank you so much for all the information. Very fascinating, interesting to see the development, and makes us proud of our community. And so thank you for being our guest today. And
Thank you.
also thank you, Paula and Aaron, for being with us. And thank you for spending your time with us this morning.
Thank you all.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Rotarians, go out and have a great week. The rolling blackouts have started, from what I understand, so hope we'll all stay warm.
Take care, y'all.
Okay.
All
Bye-bye.
right.
Take care. Have a great week. Thank you.
Later.